Hi all and welcome back to another deck profile. This is Game Grinder. We're here again with a updated version of Crimson Battler. Now as I'm recording this, obviously a new set's come out, which is Attack of the Omnilords. So I thought I'd kind of give you a last look at my Crimson Battler deck before I kind of start on the new Omnilords and just kind of see the changes I've made since it first came out. So for those of you who saw the previous video, it's still Crimson Battler Boosted Dragon. Enough said about his skills really, but I suppose I better cover it just in case some of you aren't aware of him. Came out in the original trial deck last year. Kind of 5,000 to 6,000, has move as well. As long as you have a fist equipped, he gets the move ability. So it's basically a Pauper's version of Mad Helmet, but with just slightly capped skills on the attack. But let's get crack-a-lacking on the actual deck profile. So we're going to start off, as I always do, with the grade ones. So we're going to show you kind of one of the newer guys first. Now this guy has an interesting new skill. Now he is Catapult Knuckle. Now when this guy link attacks with your weapon, he will give your weapon a secondary attack. So it gives it double attack, which is quite handy because sometimes you do need to link attack just to clear out the centre. This allows your weapon to restand, attack again, or if it's got Soul Guard, get 2 link attacks on it. A lot of aggression, a lot of help there. Next one is a promo card that came out a while ago. Still a very good card in my opinion. Mighty Dragon. Basically if you have a fist equipped, he gains a crit. Very simple, doesn't do a lot else. He is just there to mainly look like, well, not look like, but basically give the aggression towards the player. So like you might clear it out with another monster. This one gets free crit straight at it, and maybe this is just a kind of cynic in me, but I also like the way he looks like he's giving the other player the finger. There's something about that that I find quite amusing. So, moving on. Next one is another one that was not in the last video. So this is Crimson Battler Rock Dragon. So like most Crimson Battlers, he does need a fist equipped for his skill to trigger, but it is quite a good skill. So basically what you're looking at is an extra gauge. So you call this guy, your fist is equipped, you're going to get a gauge. Now if you're like me and run quite a few impacts in this deck, that's quite handy to trigger those impacts as soon as possible, because what you can probably find is this guy maybe igniting a fist. That's 2, maybe 3, that's about 8 crit, between basically say 6 and 8 crit. That's impact territory really. So if you've got Roaring Slash or Gargantua Punisher, Crusher, whatever, you're going to have a chance of getting your impact off to just kind of do maybe a 1-turn kill, which I have done quite a few times with this deck. Now the last grade one is actually from the original trial deck. He was in my last deck profile, but his name is Crimson Battler Spinnail Dragon. You can't call him to the left or right, which is quite handy because that allows you to keep your basically fist to attack your opponent. 6/2/2, quite reasonable stats. He's basically a Tabador clone for any Purgatory Knight fans out there. Run 2 of him because it's just nice to have that little 6k just to bang and then follow through with your weapon. So we're going to go on to the grade 2s. Now I'm going to start off with this guy. His name is Qatar Dragon. Now Double Qatar Dragon is a lovely little card. When he attacks, he destroys all soul in the soul of a card. Now that's quite nice because when he attacks, say you've got I don't know, Hero World with their lovely ride system that basically allows them to put tons of cards in the soul now. This basically card attacks them and all those souls are destroyed, taking it back down to the original stats. Or if you've got Jewel Seeger. Jewel Seeger's in the centre, this card attacks, all Jewel Seeger souls go away, which is quite handy. It literally nukes some really heavy buffers, especially in Star Dragon mode. When that first came out, everyone was trying to overclock the soul. This guy gets rid of them exceptionally fast. Next is a bit of a mixed card for me, I'm not going to lie. I've been tempted to take this out a couple of times, I haven't. One, the artwork I kind of love. It's kind of a cheeky little piratey slash fish dragon. Crimson Battler Power Stomp. Pay 1 gauge when he's called. If you have a fist equipped, he destroys a card on the left or right. Quite handy. It's not governed by size, it's not governed by anything else. It's just literally destroy a monster on your opponent's left or right. So if you have got, I don't know, Raging Spirits, which can be frustrating if they play a lot of counters, you can literally just kill it. quite nice, quite simple. Enough said. Now, Drum Bunker, kind of one of the main characters in any buddy fight deck. I do run 4 of him, but I run 2 different types. So we've got the promo version, which is Scorching Crimson Battler Drum. Very simple card, pay 1 gauge. You can kind of retrieve a fist from the drop zone. Now, anyone who knows Crimson Battlers in the buddy universe kind of knows that they rely on items. There is no ifs, buts or maybes. We depend on items quite crucially. This I put in just because it just allows me to kind of get an item back if they've used a spell on me. I haven't got one in my hand, or I will be honest, I have done it so like I kind of charge the item then, because I know the charge was an item on the last gate, use that to call this guy, and then that allows me to get then the fist back out, or maybe charge 2. Kind of, you've called 2 monsters, in goes the fist, you haven't got one, you know it's there, you pay the gate, you kind of get your fist back, and then pay the cost to equip it. It allows you sometimes to control the cards you throw away to kind of put back in your hand. It's a nice kind of a controlled all-rounder. Don't run too many, I find one's enough because I do kind of run a lot of fists, but I just like the flexibility. Now the other one is the good old-fashioned Crimson Battler Drum Bunker Dragon. Been around for a while, everyone loves this guy. He's basically Penetrate Soul Guard if you've got fist equipped. He gains Penetrate, cost of 1, 5, 3, 2. That Penetrate with a free crit's quite nice. You can link attack with some other cards and get that free crit off. Plus he's got that Soul Guard, so most people go after him when he's on the field because no one likes Penetrate. Not my go-to card, but I do like it. Now, I will be honest, the last grade 2 I run is obviously the buddy, because you kind of need to. So Crimson Booster is my basically buddy. So as I said, kind of Hellbot claim with slightly less attack, free. As long as you've got a fist, he gets the move. So as we've spoken to him a couple of times, we'll move on to grade 3s. So grade 3s is probably one of my most favourite cards in the overall deck. I absolutely love this card. If Crimson Battlers would do a grade 0, I'd probably crank this one back up to 3 or 4. Now, second chieftain, Burning 4, basically pay 2 gauge. If you've got an item equipped, he will give your item an extra crit. So not only does this card also have double attack, he will give your item a crit. So with that crit, it allows a little bit more pressure. So he's 8,000 attack. That's clearing out your centre, hopefully. He then attacks for 2. All your counters are kind of going to burn off against that. And then you follow up with your weapon. Does a hell of a lot of damage. So, talking about weapons, let's start with the items. So, we run 1 Drago Knuckle, so that's Steel Fist Drago Knuckle. Pay 1 life, because sometimes you don't want to pay the gauge, because you want to save that for your impact. On the other hand, sometimes you need to link attack and you need a bit more power. Pay 1 gauge, add some power. A little bit flexible, depending if you're in a bit of a bind, then you might need gauge, you can use it. On the other hand, if you're just stuck and you just need to pound something, you can use it. Now, next one is 2 Sunshine Impact Fists. Sunshine Impact Fists, been around for a while, a lot of people know it. Basically pay gauge. If you link attack with your buddy monster, in my case Boosted Dragon, you're going to attack for infinity. So a lot of pressure, can't really block that easily unless you've got a shield, but good all-rounder, good solid beat stick basically. So the last item I run is actually the Crimson Fist Drago Blaze. Lovely looking card, free crit, that's kind of its main job. The attack power is absolutely atrocious, but you don't really run it for that. You run it because you need that pressure from that crit. So you let your monsters maybe clear out, or you link attack, mostly let the monsters do the work. This follows through to add the pressure. So on to spells. So one of the main ones I run is from the trial deck still. I think this is an awesome spell. You might not agree, to be honest. I think you're wrong if you don't, but we'll agree to disagree. This is basically, if you have a weapon equipped, you put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your gauge. You also gain a life. So if you need to get that impact out fast, or you need a monster out because you haven't got enough gauge, this immediately lets you charge up. plus it's not capped by once per turn. So if you have both of them in your hand, you can literally charge your gauge straight up to 4. So those people might be thinking, oh, it hasn't got a lot of gauge, I can use my shields this turn, then it's in your next turn, I've got 1 gauge, yeah, I'm still okay, I've got a good monster in the centre, then all of a sudden your gauge cranks straight up, changes the weight of kind of the way that attack's going to go, and allows you to do some serious damage. So with Crimson Battlers, for those of you who use them, shields are exceptionally important. Now I run this guy, he is from the trial deck as well. It's got 2 skills. Basically, if you're being attacked, he nullifies the attack, and if for some reason your life is on 1, you get to draw a card. Now, I will be honest, the drawing the card side of it is absolutely shockingly terrible. The chances of you pulling it off are slim to none. I've played this deck, well, to be frank, hundreds of times, and basically I've pulled it off once, actually once. So you don't really use it for it. Do not depend on it as a draw system in any deck, but the fact it's a nullifier for no cool cost is the main reason. You can nullify an attack, so your centre doesn't have to be open. That attack could be aimed at you directly, or it's just an attack. You can just nullify it. It's a good all-round solid nullifier. So the next one up is another shield. So in keeping with the defence side of it, it's this guy, Green Dragon Shield. Basically, nullify an attack, gain 1 life. It's been around since the game's kind of creation. It's a good solid defense card for any Dragon World user. I would recommend you run 4 in this deck, giving yourself the total of the 8 shields. You could run blue, but with some of the Crimson's actual monsters, I don't think you need to, but you can do. So now we're on to the last couple of spells. So one of the last ones is we run 2 Dragonic Assault. Why pay 1 gauge, add a crit? If you put that on Burning Fast, that's 3 crit. If he's given your weapon an extra crit, potentially you could be doing 10 crit from 2 cards with this. On the other hand, you could force up maybe one of your grade 1s to a 4 crit or a 3 crit. I like it because it just adds a hell of a lot of actual real pressure onto the deck. So now we're over to the one-shots. Now, my main one-shots are Dragonic Gatebreaker. Don't use it very often. When I need it, I never seem to have it in hand, and when I have it in hand, I never seem to need it. So I only run 1 now. Destroy an opponent's monster in the centre. The last one shot is this guy. Don't know why I put it in, but I seem to use it occasionally. Mostly for my grade 3. So if with this card I can give it Penetrate, on the other hand I can give my Bunny Penetrate, or even a grade 2 is no cool cost, you just choose a monster on the field, this turn it gets Penetrate, and sometimes that's nice just to add extra pressure. So they're my one shots. Over to the impacts. So impacts we run 4, 2 of the Roaring and Gargantua Punisher. Like I said, this is about just ending the game as quickly as possible. You've done the work getting the gauge up with the spells, the monsters that generate gauge. This just ends the game. The last one is Gigantic Crusher, kind of a Pauper's version. Pay 3 gauge, deal 4 damage. Cannot be reduced, but it can be nullified. I will be honest, I do prefer this one because it can't be nullified, does a lot more damage. So unless they've got distortion in their hands, that's going to go through, get the job done. But on the other hand, sometimes just having the 3 gauge, it's worth kind of going for that 1 turn kill. I've done it more than a couple of times, quite a few times with that, couple of monsters, job done. So that is kind of my Crimson Matla deck updated deck review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will be honest, I've played this deck a lot of times. It's a fun deck to use. You might not agree with all the cards I personally use, but my game style, this works for me exceptionally well, and it kind of covers most bases. So hopefully it's helped some of you out there with some ideas, and if you haven't given Crimson's a go, please do. It's a fun deck to use. Take care, see you later.